afternoon, everybody. Dakota Punzel here with the Alabama Best Practices Center, welcoming you back into Concise Conversations with Kathy and Jackie. Our guest today is Jeremy VanEgmond from Pike Road Elementary School, and we're so honored to have him today, and I'm really interested in the conversation that we'll be having. So with that being said, I'm going to kick it over to Kathy.
Thank you, Dakota. Jeremy, we are so excited that you are with us and looking forward to talking to you. Jackie is experiencing some momentary technical difficulty. We hope that she will be able to join us, but if not, we will carry on and have the conversation. Jeremy is the assistant principal at Pike Road Elementary School, and we've gotten to know each other well through the Powerful Conversations Network, Key Leaders Network, and Pike Road Elementary has sponsored several instructional rounds for us. Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you.
When we were talking the other day, you have an aspirational hashtag that you wish more people would think about. Can you tell us about it and explain the rationale for that?
Yes. I was probably last summer, it hit me that I see that our kids, I'm in the elementary environment, so I'm seeing 5 to 8 year olds grow before our eyes. And when I really started thinking about all the things they were accomplishing in an environment that promotes their curiosity and aims to give them ownership of their learning and to think critically, it's our mission to do all of these things. In that environment, kids accomplish so much. And so last summer, I was just thinking that in a traditional school paradigm, we are not expecting enough from kids. And that we ought to overestimate their ability relative to what we think they can do right now. And so I really have been thinking a lot about the idea of overestimating kids. And anytime I see a child, regardless of their age, doing something that is amazing, I just try to attach this hashtag to it and share it because I think we need to do better with that expectation in education as a whole.
I just think it's a wonderful concept, and I like it better than high expectations. Because it is much more active. It requires both the teacher or parents or whoever to be thinking about raising the ceiling for what they think their kids can do. And when you think about those 3-year-olds that start asking abundant questions, and you see just their never-ending curiosity, I wonder, both in the framework of over expecting, but also during this time of social distancing and the COVID-19 epidemic, how curiosity fits in with your ideas and what you're doing at Pike Road to spur that.
Yeah, and so obviously this time right now is a time where we've just had time to reflect, and we've been forced to take a step back a little bit from the kids, just being physically distant from them, but still trying to foster learning in their lives. And so when we think of them at their houses and they're outside playing and they're exploring the backyard, finding creatures, asking questions about nature, riding their bikes and gaining skills of perseverance, taking off the training wheels, all of these things are opportunities where kids are able to be more curious. And so I think it's been the best thing for us to, as educators, see that from afar and try to make education fit and build upon that curiosity a little bit more. So as we're facilitating distance learning at Pike Road Elementary School, we're trying to integrate things that kids would already be doing at their homes, trying to make the learning relevant to what those kids are doing in their curiosity based exploration, and just making the learning a little bit more connected to that innate desire that they have to learn and ask questions and explore.
So I know that Pike Road Elementary has embraced project-based learning and really having kids be leaders of their own learning. What lessons are you learning now with the really just automatically, almost unexpectedly having to shut down school as we know it and turn to virtual learning?
You mentioned like leaders of their own learning specifically, and we've really been trying to invest and follow Berger's work with that. And over the last few years with the kids, cultivating different components that would allow them to have ownership over their learning journey, to understand what they're learning. And so even if when they've been with us in the school setting, we've made sure that the learning is accessible for them, that they have that they understand the learning targets that they're aiming to master, that we have an assessment system that they can understand and grow through. And so a lot of the investments that we've made into some of those things over the last couple of years have really paid dividends now that the kids are away from us. And we're seeing that kids in kindergarten are telling their parents, hey, I want to keep practicing these sight words. I want to video myself reading this book. It's the first time I've been able to read this book, and I want to share with my teacher in Seesaw in their portfolio. And so that's the fruit of the labor. It's really exciting to think that if they're at home and they're still wanting to continue learning, even though they're not at school, that shows that our investment has been worthwhile so far, and that we're just going to keep going in this direction with all the things that that leaders of their own learning model provides for us.
That's really wonderful. Imagining the excitement of a child being able to read a book and wanting to share it with others. So I suspect that a lot of your strategies, there's been a key stream going through of building relationships, trust with students, and having them feel comfortable both when they're in the classroom and working remotely. Can you say more about that?
Yes, and this is not just our school. I know with a lot of conversations we've had with different districts around the country that yes, we need to help our kids continue to learn. We need to continue to feed them resources that support the learning. We still want to try to develop certain skills and really equip parents to be able to work with their kids, and that's for all families. You know, big thing is making sure that all of the families, all of our kids have equal access to those resources and abilities to learn. So all of those things are important, but especially in this time, and I don't think it's something we need to forget, education is built on the relationships that we have with kids. And so we've seen that a lot of interaction that we've had with our kids during the school closure has been valuable when it's built around just saying, hey, how are you doing? We tried to have Zoom calls that really aren't about direct instruction as much as they are about tell us something about your week, tell us how things are going. And so the whole idea of relating to kids and maintaining these relationships is something that we have found to be really important along with a lot of other people that we have been talking to in education. And I think we need to pay attention to this moving forward as well, as we do get to be back together. Just that whole idea of how that social emotional development is going to need additional support while society has kind of been separated for a while. That we're going to need to invest in that even more when we do get to be back together. I would give a quick shout out to the Conscious Discipline resource. They've done a really provide a lot of help for us at Pike Road Elementary School, just to provide structure to how you can support kids' social emotional development.
So say more about that. I'm not familiar with that initiative or that proposal.
Yeah, it's been something that we've been investing in for a couple of years, and the premise is to give kids the tools to self-regulate, to manage their emotions, to solve problems together. So when kids come together in the morning, they're greeting each other with different ways of greeting one another. They're having family meetings every day. They're having little rituals that they share just to practice talking about things or showing that they care for each other. A class might have a safe space or a place to go if a child feels like they need to calm down, if they're upset about something. There might be a problem-solving corner or a few steps that kids can follow if they are having an argument about something. We have a lot of different instances that have been documented where out on the playground, there might be an argument and kids just go talk about it together, and work it out. And so kids being able to do that, and these are 5 and 6 year olds, kids being able to do that. I think if we hold the expectation high for them, that they have the ability to work through problems, that they have the ability to manage their own emotions. If we hold that bar high enough when they're 5 and 6, and we continue to overestimate them as they grow, I'm just thinking that we could be producing kids who are capable of a lot more than what the current system is offering for them.
Oh, that's so true. Building really important life skills that will serve them well through their lives. So when we think about social emotional care, I'm reminded that it's also teachers that have had to deal with this trauma. They miss their students. They in some ways they have their children at home, so they're having to help augment their children's education and teach their own kids. So what are you doing to support your teachers, and what are you learning about them through this time?
Yeah, and we even saw it when we were together, Kathy, that the teachers would just come into the office and say, "Man, I needed to practice the breathe for 5 seconds, blow out a balloon, because of a situation where they needed to be calmed down before they address something." So like these strategies are definitely helpful for all the adults in the building to maintain their own emotional stability and well-being. So just recognizing that even when we interact with our team now, that we need to be most concerned about their lives, making sure that everything's okay in their homes, recognizing that some of our teachers, our lead learners, are moms or dads, and they have kids, and so just managing expectations accordingly, just to promote that balance of life and work that everyone's being called to. And so I would just say modeling that is really important. And just to go back to the other point too of promoting curiosity for kids, that's something we need to model as well, right? Asking questions as adults, saying, "I wonder this," or "Let's try that," and continuing to be lifelong learners is something that we want to model, so that our kids see that, and that we all show that it's a really important thing. And the last thing I would say, in terms of the context of leadership for schools in this regard, is just modeling the growth mindset, supporting your team to say, "Hey, if you are trying something new and you mess up, it's okay. We're going to grow through it." And cultivating that in an environment is something that we've found to be very fruitful as well.
Well, let's go back full circle since our time is almost up. You've got an audience and you've now created the hashtag overestimate kids. What would you like them to do? How can they help you spread the word?
Yeah, and just to clarify, because something like this could be taken out of context, and that this guy is saying, "Let's over exasperate kids. Let's throw more worksheets at them. Let's, if they can get through this curriculum twice as fast, so let's drill and kill twice as hard." And I want to be really clear that I'm saying that we can overestimate their intellectual ability to ask deep questions, to create meaningful products. We got a 4-year-old in our pre-K class that just created a video about sea creatures the other day, and if a 4-year-old can do that, he's going to remember. He's going to remember that for the rest for a long time. The information that he embedded in that fun video that he made with his mom at home. So let's overestimate what kids are capable of in terms of creating and asking questions, and exploring content, and let's try to build an educational experience around those values. And as we see them doing these things, it'd be really exciting to share those videos, to share those products of learning, to share those conversations, in whatever social media outlet you can find, and just hashtag it overestimate kids, because the more examples we have of that, the clearer it's going to be for everybody.
Well, Jeremy, I can't believe our time is up. I have certainly
Great.
enjoyed this conversation and I would love to continue it. And I'm going to use that hashtag and I hope that we'll have others that share videos and ideas to enrich children's lives. So thank you for being our guest. And Dakota, I'm sending it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. I didn't know where that conversation was going to go, but I'm really happy with the result. I think we got into some really good things. So to preview next week, Dr. Jimmy Shaw, Superintendent of Florence City Schools, will be with us and be checking out our social media to see what the topic is going to be. As always, if you would like to request a topic or be a guest, just email me at dakota@aplusala.org. We are so happy that y'all joined us today. Please, y'all have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you again, Jeremy.
Thank you all. It was a pleasure.